Okay, in this video I want to talk about freedom of speech and why that is so important for every social media output and all this kind of thing. So let us begin. Like, freedom of speech means that you can say everything you want, even if the other person do not like what you have to say, even if that word is offensive, you are still allowed to say it. It's freedom of speech. So when you say freedom of speech, means everything that comes from your mouth is allowed to say, to talk about. And even if that is, some people think that is political incorrect, opposite political views, you still should be allowed to say what you want to say. Even if your views is stupid, you still should be allowed to say what you want to say. Yeah, and the other thing is very problematic is YouTube is a very problematic is when you put up videos on a channel, you have to understand YouTube should not be political. YouTube should not be political based, and that they are, and that is a dangerous thing because example, if YouTube is very left, it's still dangerous because they only want to hear opinion what they think is right. But if somebody on the opposite side says something and they are not allowed to say because they believe in a different political agenda and this kind of thing, is a very, very bad thing. So that I really want to say is that you have to understand that it's wrong, no matter what political party you work with. It's still wrong if you censor somebody just because they don't think like you, and that is, if you do that, it's not longer freedom of speech. Of course, they call it their guideline or cancel culture. Like, so it's nothing with your right or left. Simple way, you should do what you want on YouTube, put up what kind of video you want. Of course, you should not put up videos that are extremely bad, this kind of thing. But you shouldn't be allowed to put up, say everything you want, example about the coronavirus. And you cannot censor somebody just because you don't like to hear what they have to say. That is also very wrong. Also very wrong to do. And I know YouTube also work with other countries that's very bad countries, dictatorship countries. China, for example, is a very good example if you want a bad country. I don't have anything against Chinese. I love their culture. I think they are a beautiful culture, but you are not allowed to do anything to also on YouTube. Like, YouTube, it should not be political. It should not be country biased. It should not be in US, not China. Everybody should be allowed to put what they want on YouTube, and it's like it's almost dictatorship when YouTube censors somebody just because they vote for Donald Trump. I think Donald Trump is stupid. I really don't like him at all. But I still think people vote for Donald Trump still should be allowed to say what they want to say, because when you hear somebody talk, you can learn and you can see, there is a reason why I disagreed with that person. If you don't hear what that person has to say, you just think that person is a bad person, it will never solve anything. And I understand why so many riots and violence, because we don't listen to each other. We don't listen to people because we think what they have to say is wrong, and we think just because they vote for that person they are evil, and that is a problem. It's a very big dangerous problem for both sides, and some people are very bad people. Absolutely, most of them, example, vote for Donald Trump, or many of them are very extremistic people, and And that is what I mean by what I said before. Freedom of speech, what you should be allowed to say what you want, even if you're left or right. So example, what I say now, I don't like Donald Trump, it should be allowed to say that. And the other side should be allowed to say, example, they don't like Biden, or they don't like Biden's philosophy in his political things. And that is the thing. If you're not allowed to say what you want, totally free, you cannot. What is the point in the end with YouTube and this kind of thing? So, and other thing that also more dangerous is when you censor somebody and talk about like other side about the coronavirus. And that is also the thing. I don't going to talk about that because I'm not a doctor. That is the thing, because every person, if you don't know this how the symptoms works. If you are working on YouTube, how can you censor somebody who maybe knows? So are a doctor or work with this kind of thing. That is also the dangerous thing. Is YouTube is not a doctor. YouTube is a site when you do videos. You do video game, political, fun, cutting fruit, showing your luxury car, tattoos, all this kind of thing. All these material things. In some shape or form, but if you censor something just because they speak, then it's pointless in the end with YouTube, because no, it's wrong. The easy way to say it is wrong, and many things I really disagree with. When many I absolutely disagree with what some. I think both political things are very wrong, left or right. There's many things that's extremely wrong. Because, example in America, I think personally, I think Biden is personally better for America, and Trump is, but I don't think Biden gonna be any more better for the world, because Barack Obama was do horrible things to other people around the world. So just because somebody is good for your country, do not mean they are good for the around other countries. They all maybe are good for example the royal family in UK that work with Saudi Arabia and is heavily armed other groups. So that is also one thing. So this is very big. It's a very big hypocrisy with many things. Just because somebody you think, say, example, Black Lives Matter, do not mean they still can do horrible things when they are elected as president. So it's not nothing what skin color is. What is your? It's not just because you have a different skin color do not mean you cannot do bad things. And example, Barack Obama, with his bombing in other countries, or and so on, and kill people and this kind of thing. And yeah, so it is wrong to censor somebody just because they have a different opinion. Yes, and the other thing else is example, when a big country works with the other country, and that country, example, America and Israel, when Israel, so long America work with some country, they will not speak about that country in a bad term. When this country do horrible things to the Palestinians, or the other example is Saudi Arabia and UK, when they work together, like they don't speak about Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia do horrible things to civilians. Example, Israel do horrible things to Palestinians as the civilians. Or when Chinese do horrible things to the Uyghurs. And that's what I mean is hypocrisy. This is hypocrisy. Just because some country get money from the other country, they will not speak anything bad about them. But when they are not getting money from their country, then they speak bad about that country and this kind of thing. And that is one thing. That is the big. This is the big cake of bad things. The small cake is the censoring on YouTube, and because some companies, example, in China or other, do censor things that are critical to their regime. For example, when you're talking about movies, for example, Marvel movies, for example, Doctor Strange. When the original the priest, the girl that trained Doctor Strange, I totally forget her name. She was a Tibetan, and because Chinese is occupying Tibet, they don't allow that, because then their movies will not sell around. So the movies will not show up in cinemas in China, and because Chinese is very big, many people, because much money. And that is also things that is very, very wrong. There's lots of things that you cannot do because you work with some country, and that country is censoring your things because they don't want the world to see that the regime, not the people. The regime is do horrible things, not the people. And this kind of, and that's wrong. And the USA is the same. It's also do horrible things to other countries, to civilians, many times to civilians. And just because they are United States, people don't want to hear that. People don't want to hear that United States use drones, or UK use drones in Afghanistan or to kill civilians behind a computer screen, and this kind of thing. And it's so many. It's easy to find this kind of thing. It's not like, you have to understand. So it's nothing about left or right. It's just how kind of money works around the world, and how some money you want more money, and you want some people's freedom to speech. I can promise you that if any country in the world, and somebody say, oh, you get $100 billion if you censor this group of people, they will do it because they get money for it. So the people are do much more want the money than want to hear people's opinions, and so on. And yeah, that is really everything I want to say. And remember that freedom of speech means that everybody have a right to say what they want, even if that what they say is stupid. They still have a right to say what they want, and that is freedom of speech. When you censor something from little to big, that is not longer freedom of speech, and that is the thing. I think to speak what you want, you should be allowed to say whatever you want, and because then you can counter that with, say you disagreed with that, and you can talk. But when you say somebody should be quiet and only you can speak, that will never ever change anything in the world. It's just going to make us stupider and stupider, and every time these kind of things. Just remember that is drop that thing and just accept that freedom of speech is where you can say whatever you want. That is freedom of speech. Okay, bye.